Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Fitness Podcast. We have a special guest today, Lisa. Before we get started, I just want to mention our sponsor or affiliate link actually with my friend Chris. Him and I partnered up to help him out with his computer building website. If you ever want to build your own computer or you want guidance on various builds, go to his website. If you use the promo code Nick, you get $25 off of any purchase that you make. And for the next 2 weeks, whatever profits from the affiliate links I make, I will be donating to various charities that do help Black Lives Matter. And I will also have the links in the description. But yeah, hey Lisa, welcome onto the podcast. I'll just give you a quick minute to introduce yourself for the audience.
So my name is Lisa Burgart, and I grew up doing competitive gymnastics, so I was very athletic growing up. And in university, I became a personal trainer, and then I also became a nutritionist after university. And I started my own company, Dynamix Fitness, which has been going for 8 years. And it was an in-home personal training company, but it has now turned into an online personal training company.
Yeah, so with online training, you must be having a lot of Zoom. You must be becoming more proficient in Zoom, right?
Actually, I created an app, and I do everything through the app. So all the programs, all the customized workouts are all done through the app with instructional videos and with nutritional advice, and in-app messaging is all done like through this one app. It's a new way of training people.
Yeah, then send me the details for the app. I'll put it in the description of this video for people to reach out and download. So with that, you said you do training. You were always an active person, and you're a nutritionist. I just wanted to ask, so all this talk about fitness, what does fitness mean to you, and what's a major part of, or what makes it a major part of your life?
So being active has always been a big part of my life. But I have to admit that while growing up, I was very active, but I was really unhealthy. So I wasn't eating very well. So as a competitive athlete, I was eating a lot of junk food, a lot of fast food, a lot of candy. And because I was so active, it didn't really show. But it wasn't until after university I went to nutrition school where I was able to understand how food affects like your training. And that was like the biggest kind of eye opener for me was the food component. And once I got that into gear, then everything kind of came into place where my energy levels went up. Even my physique kind of changed as well. So it made a huge difference.
Yeah, I think we share a lot of similarities in that aspect. Obviously, when it comes to nutrition, I don't know quite as much about it as you would, but I I had a similar story in the sense where I was active, but my food habits did get out of control, and when I did change that, it did bring a huge change into my life and overall fitness.
Yes, it makes
But
sense.
yeah,
Sure.
so like just a brief discussion on that, like what was like the major change that you made in terms of your food and everything?
So me, like it's different for everyone, but for me, I just incorporated a more plant-based diet. So I actually became a pescatarian for about 5 years, and it's a lot about listening to your body. So I was listening to my body, and I was craving more protein, so I added chicken back into my diet. But I stick with lean meats and mostly veggies, and that just made the biggest difference for me anyways. But it's all individual, so everyone's different in how different foods affect them.
Yeah, so a big portion of this podcast is basically Yeah, a big portion of my podcast is basically about goals, and I just wanted to ask, what are some personal fitness goals that you place for yourself, and how do you work on achieving them for yourself?
So for me, it's always been like incremental goals, like small goals. So one small goal would be, to stop snacking. Another small goal would be to, drink more water. And it's the small goals that you make and that you achieve that make the biggest difference. Like if you have a big goal of, lose 20 pounds, it's those small goals that lead up to that big goal that are going to make the biggest changes. So it's for me, it's just constantly learning about how to be healthier, keeping up to date with proper nutrition and science. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, like I think it's like the smaller goals are important to see like your progress or how you're climbing up the steps, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you are someone who is quite active and everything, but I know a lot of people for their workouts and everything, they do rely on going to the gym and so on. Has any of your how has any of your goals or your fitness ability changed because of the quarantine? How have you adapted to this indoors workout scene?
Well, as like I was an in-home personal training specialist. That's what I specialized in. So I really taught people how to work out at home. So really, the quarantine hasn't changed much for me. It's all about using what you have. Your body is your gym, and then you don't need a lot of room to work out, and you maybe just need a couple dumbbells. But like, it's not very hard to get a good workout in at home. So I try to teach people that you don't really need a fancy gym with fancy equipment, and you don't really need to pay those membership fees. You can do everything in the comfort of your home. So
Yeah, especially for people who especially for people who watch stuff like Rocky and everything. Rocky worked out in a barn, yet he still beat everyone that he fought. But
exactly.
yeah,
More
you
about
don't need all that fancy equipment.
perseverance, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I I want to get more into training other people. So first of all, I just want to get into why you got into instead of transforming yourself and continuing to work on yourself. Why did you put your focus onto training other people for their transformation? What was the inspiration behind that?
For me, well, I was a gymnast, and then I became a competitive coach. And being a competitive coach, you're always coaching on technique and proper form, and uh, you know, um, and consistency and things like that to young athletes. So really, what I did was take that knowledge and expertise and put it towards personal training. So really teaching others how to be fit and healthy came pretty naturally to me. Um, that's basically it.
Yeah, you said you were a gymnast, right?
Yes.
Yeah, my background is with martial arts, and I think there are a lot of similarities in everything. In so if anyone who does watch this podcast and is interested, because the topic is coming up, I do recommend doing a lot of gymnast style trainings if you are training for martial arts, because the flexibility, the acrobatics, and so on are really helpful, and the endurance so as well is really helpful for people who are trying out going
It's really
into both martial arts.
like a basis. I think every kid should start in gymnastics and just learn those basics, how to land properly and not being too fearful of heights and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had one of my friends, Mustafa, on here. He's a pro wrestler, WWE style, and he talked a lot about how he had to even though he had the Muay Thai and wrestling background, Greco-Roman, he had to do a lot of gymnastics training for his professional media-based wrestling out there, which is was a huge shock to me, actually. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for gymnasts. But as a trainer, I just wanted to ask, what's the biggest issue you see with people when they first start training?
I think it's unique for everyone, but for some people, it's about having someone to guide them and the accountability, having someone who's knowledgeable, teach them how to do things properly. A lot of people, it's a lot about accountability. Weight loss is the goal, but there's so many instructors out there, but people are really looking for someone who's expert and that can help them reach their goals.
Yeah. So like when everyone has set their goals and one person might have their own set of goals, but how would someone like originally when someone's leading a unhealthy lifestyle, how do they first of all, how as a trainer can you help them see that they need to change and they need to set a goal for themselves? And how as a person, how can a person themselves see that they need to change and set a goal for themselves?
So yes, it's a lot of people do have bad habits, and like I said before, it's about making small incremental changes, so small goals that make the big difference. So like one goal could be not drinking your calories. Another goal could be not snacking, or portion control. Like these, just being very small achievements basically. And that's how you kind of build it into becoming a lifestyle and build better habits basically.
Yeah, like I know for me, like the reason why I bring this specific question up is because even though I had the exercise background, it seemed like it's so close in time. Like a year ago, I did have eating disorders, and I had to put a lot of strain to get out of it. And I know a lot of people that do watch this podcast have the same issue as me. So that's what the next question is going to be about. I'm going to use myself as an example and someone who didn't have the experience as me as an example, but as someone who had exercise background, like me as a powerlifter, I didn't know, I still had the eating habit and I was still able to do some sort of research before I changed, even though it wasn't 100% accurate. But how does one who doesn't even have that exercise or fitness background get into researching properly on how to change and maintain a healthy lifestyle? And what would the harm be of not doing such research before you go into something as drastic?
The problem with doing your own research today is that there's just so much information out there, and sometimes it can be overwhelming and you're not sure what's correct and what's not. I would say the best approach is to contact like a professional. So contact someone who's has the experience, who's been doing it, training for over 15 years, someone that you resonate with your goals. I think starting with like someone to show you how to do things properly is the best approach. So, and that's how you're specifically, and like even for myself, gymnastics, I always had a coach coaching me to help me get me to the next level. Like there's always a need for someone else to teach you how to do it. And that's how you're going to get to that, next level or, get better. That's, what I recommend.
Yeah, like for anyone out there who thinks that, like, I know it is a bad habit to think that starving yourself is the only way to lose weight, but like I'll tell you as the biggest example, when I lost my weight, other than the first week of losing it, I never actually felt hungry. The idea is not for you to feel hungry, but for you to just maintain a slight calorie deficit per day. So like the reason why I say this is because I know a lot of people, whenever they think, oh, I got to lose 20 pounds, let me skip a few meals per day. No, that's not the case. You can eat 10 meals a day as long as like you make it into like smaller portions. Eating 3 to 4 meals a day is perfectly fine. It's a huge misconception, and it's more about getting rid of the mentality of trying to eat because you're bored and eating more because you need to eat, and not eating because you want to eat. And like that's one of the biggest messages I'll give to anyone listening to this podcast for today. Don't like no one should be starving themselves. But another big thing is for me, I'm on a student budget, and I know a lot of people who are economically strained right now, especially with the COVID and everything going on. I want to know what your opinion is on keeping a healthy lifestyle on a budget.
Yeah, so I did like a Instagram IGTV on this topic not too long ago. And basically what I said is the best thing to do is to make big portions. So when you're making something, make a big stew that will last for three to 5 days, or make a soup that, you know, will also last long, or something that you can freeze. Make chicken that will last, you know, for 3 days or so that you can portion out. Making extra amounts is what's gonna, you know, help cut the costs mostly. So you're not constantly going out and buying. And also eating more veggies is also less expensive.
Yeah, and I would also recommend buying, like, just to add on this, but like you did mention cooking for a few days before. I do recommend buying these plastic containers actually, where you can actually sort and organize food. I did this because I was working this horrible shift at like 5 a.m. till like, and by the time I got home, it was like 6 p.m. So like by the time I came home, I was super tired. So I have these containers where I can just make enough for the week, put them all in the fridge, and take one piece out at a time. And then I also bought in bulk the one time I went to Costco or something. So I'll put the link for that product in the description below for anyone who is interested in buying that for meal prep in the future. But yeah, I think we had a nice discussion. I think I got your opinion on a lot of things. Thanks for coming over. I know you did say that you run an in-home an online training company. So I was wondering if you have any products or services or events coming up in the near future that you can discuss with us for today.
Yeah, sure. I currently have a new online program. It's geared towards women, specifically busy super women who want to get healthy and fit within 90 days. And it's a system, it's a 3-month system that, you know, helps them lose 10 to 15 pounds. And then, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll put the link on the description with that. And I'll also put your Instagram if anyone does want to see any other services and so on that you do provide. But with that being said, thank you for coming on, and thank you guys for listening. I'm officially a YouTuber now, so subscribe below, leave a comment, like, and thumbs up, and all that. All right, guys, take care.